YouTube. I know I'm very late, but basically this is unboxing for the iPod Touch 5th generation. I got the white and silver variant of it, and it is a 32GB one. As you all know, they got rid of the 8GB and now only sell the iPods at minimally $300 with 32GB. Actually, I don't even need this knife. I thought I would. And you just basically take the sticker tab and you want to peel this open. Then open it like so. And I'm going to put this aside for a second. And what we get here would be designed by Apple in California. And basically you get your hello paper, basically a quick start guide which no one reads. You get your product info and some Apple stickers, so it's pretty nice. You also get your lightning to USB. This is a 2.0 port, it's not 3.0, so the transfer rate is not quicker by any means. It's still the same transfer rate, but the connector right here, as you can see, is the 8-pin is a digital connector, and it's reversible, so it's very nice. So that's, you get that in the box. You also get the, if I can get it out, you get your wrist strap, which basically feels like cheap vinyl, very cheap material, and so it matches the color of your iPod Touch. And you get your nice Apple earpods, which basically been remodeled and redesigned. Apple claims they're better than your $100 in-ear headphones, which I actually tested them out, and they're not that good. But basically, it is scanned over hundreds and thousands of people's ear canals and came up with this. And there's holes for better bass and treble. It's just ports basically to make it sound better. So there's no inline mic. We're going to give them an iPod Touch. At least give them the microphone option, which they're not doing. That's actually not nice of Apple. And then let's get back to our actual iPod Touch. So here we go. You basically have to take off the sticker on front, and then we just peel up. Then you go like this, and then you can take the iPod Touch out. Very light. Very first thing I noticed is extremely light. Very thin too. It's basically as thin as a headphone port, almost. And for a size comparison, I have my iPod Nano, and I had to get another one because my other one got ran over by a car. Let me actually show you what that would look like. So I actually had to replace this with my last iPod Nano, which got ran over by a car. They're both, well, not both, but yeah, actually they're both 16GB versions. They're both refurbished, which looks pretty good, but this one I could probably fix if I can get the glass panel to remove, but it's so shattered that I was too afraid to try to replace it. So basically I just bought a new one. The reason why I did not choose the iPod Nano 7G is because I really just don't like the design, and I don't see any benefits towards it. And I ordered the wristband for the clock, and I just thought that was really cool. So that's just a size comparison of how thin the iPod Touch is. It's actually just as thin as a Nano, basically, without the clip. So that's basically it. Let's boot this on, and then basically it's the same exact screen as the iPhone 5. Then we have this little button here, if you noticed, and you pop that, you click it open, and you get the loop. There you go. It just dangles. So pretty nice, I guess, add-on. And I'm actually going to set this up and then come back real quick. So I'll be right back. So a lot of changes has came from the iPod 4th generation to the new 5th generation. Basically, number one, the most important thing is Siri. and she now opens apps and there's a lot more things that are very smart. A very good improvement on the camera is that this is a 1.2 megapixel, so it's not VGA anymore, and it shoots at 720p at 30 frames per second. This thing also weighs very light, coming at 3.10 ounces or 88 grams. It's also very, very thin. It's at 0.24 inches, so very, very thin, also known as 6.1 millimeters. The resolution is basically exactly the same as the iPhone 5, giving you one more row of icons. And the very weird thing that Apple decided to give you feature is this the loop thingy. Basically, if you press this little button, this thing comes up and you can put a lanyard around it. I don't know why you would do that, but I thought it was some other cool type of button, but no, it fooled us. Very nice thing about this is the one that's closest to the iPhone 5 for the screen. It's actually exactly the same screen as the iPhone 5, which is very, very nice. To other iPod Touches were, kind of a cheapy screen that kind of was the same, but it wasn't really. This one actually is the same. And also nice feature about the new iPod Touch is that there's no more low capacities. It's basically 32 gigs or 64 gigabytes. The very nice other thing about the front back-facing camera is that it does support HDR support. It basically makes the dynamic range a lot better. It also has tap to focus and video or still images. The bad thing about the iPod Touch is that while you're recording, you cannot take photos, which I do hate. So that thing sucks. But you do also get panorama mode, which is basically an old feature within Android that iPods had to get out, same as iPhone. So face detection's also into this thing, which was in the iPad 2 and the iPad 3, and now the upcoming iPad Retina. It has hybrid IR filters, backside illumination, improved video stabilization, which is close to the iPhone 4S and the iPhone 5. They gone away with the 30-pin dock connector, is now in the Lightning port, which is basically nothing really drastically awesome. It's just that they need to slim down the ports to fit more technology in there. The speaker supposedly is the mini Bose speakers. It is a big difference for clarity. I don't think it's that loud, not much louder. The finishing on the back is very nice. It's kind of like a matte finish, not that shiny type of chrome or aluminum that you guys been used to for basically every single iPod Touch until then. The other thing I hate about the new iPod Touch is that if you noticed, the camera lens does pop out a bit, so it's not flush when you put it down without a case. So you might want to get a case to remedy that. Also, the Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi radio is now dual band, so if you have 5 gigahertz router or in your network, you'll get there a lot quicker. Also, Wi-Fi capability is ×2, which is pretty nice. A lot of features were added into this new iPod Touch. So if you have an iPod 4th generation, I highly recommend upgrading. I think it's totally worth it. I don't think there is any reason not to get a new iPod Touch unless you literally just got it and you don't have the receipt or anything. But basically, you should get the new iPod Touch. It's totally worth it. I don't think there's any reason why not to get it. It's also really quick. The only thing I really hate, the most thing I hate about Apple with this update is they decided not to go with the same processor as the iPhone 5, and the RAM is only at 512 megabytes. I wish they put it up to a gig or at least 2 gigs of RAM. 2 gigs is not really necessary. 1 gig would have been nice. But with the A6 processor or the A6X processor, it would have been very nice. Otherwise, it's still the best iPod Touch to date, the quickest and the snappiest. Siri works very well on it. I am pretty much very impressed with this iPod Touch. Basically, with my last iPod Touch, I didn't do too many things with this, but I am actually planning to use a lot of iOS applications with this. I usually just use ambient noise with my iPod Touch, but now I'm going to be doing a lot more things. Another thing that really sucks about this is that the developers for the apps aren't all adapting to the new resolution. So basically, it's going to have these black bars on the top and the bottom. I decided to get the white variant because basically all of my cell phones and devices has been white. I've been choosing white lately, and I think my new favorite color is white. I'm still not so sure because I buy black clothes, and I'm rambling. But basically having the white bars there doesn't bother me too much. If you had a black model of the iPod Touch 5th generation, then you really would not notice. Moving on to back to the hardware, I know my unboxing and review or hands-on review basically is going all over the place. Notice that the volume rocker, or it's not a rocker anymore, that's what I'm trying to tell you, it's basically two separate buttons. They're not a rocker anymore, which I think is nice, but if you're not sure where your thumb is on the actual device, you'll get confused to which one is going up and which one is going down. So it's actually, I think it's a bad thing, it's a good thing, but once you have an idea where the buttons are, it should be nice. Another thing is this weight. The weight on this device is extremely light. It feels like it's a dummy unit. It's not even real. Like, it's unbelievably light. When it picked up the iPhone 5, that thing was crazy light, but this thing's even lighter. So it's very hard to believe that such an awesome and quick device can be under this weight, which is basically 88 grams. This is a very quick device. The camera is a lot slower to open rather than the iPhone 5, and Siri is a little bit slower than the iPhone 5, but basically very solid upgrade. I'm actually very happy about this, and you guys know that's a lot coming from an Android user because basically I'm an Android fanboy. Once Apple decides to do a lot more open source, which I don't think they'll do, but if they decide to get widgets and if they decide to keep overclocking their processors without telling us, which they have done with the new iPhone 5, then basically they might switch me over to an iPhone 5 at least for maybe some work purposes, but not my actual personal device. So that's basically it. A lot of things have improved. I'm very happy with this. So that's basically my unboxing and basically hands-on or quick-on review of the iPod Touch 5th generation. Hope you guys liked this video. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. And until then, guys, peace.